Wanna Play by Opium for the Masses, read by Deathlight. When Anna was a baby, her mother used to toss her up in the air and catch her. She'd giggle and squeal each time she was airborne. The feeling of the warm summer sun and the air caressing her made her happy. Then one day, her mother missed. Anna never knew for sure just how accidental it was, though she grew to have her suspicions. She knew that everything got dark suddenly, and when she woke up, she heard all over. She cried and nobody came. They never came. As she wept, she heard it. From the darkness, a small soft voice hummed a little tune. It was peaceful, and someone wrapped itself around her and comforted her. The pain she felt melted away, and from that point on, she was never without it. When Anna got a little older, she learned to talk, and she learned it called itself Derpy. The years drug on, and the small trailer on the edge of Humansville. The longer they drug on, the taller Anna grew. Her dark brown hair was uneven, due to the haircut she had to give herself. Her pale skin and light blue eyes gave her a slightly ghostly appearance that caused the other children to shy away from her and give her the nickname Haint. In truth, the only ones who hung around her were the voice in the dark and her younger brother, Ryan. Ryan was 4 years old and her opposite in almost every way. His light blonde curly hair that sat mounded on the top of his head. Somehow, he had a rosy complexion, even though Anna never really saw him eat anything at dinner, and cherry blue eyes that was filled with delight and mischief. When he wasn't tagging along with Anna, he plopped himself down in front of the TV for hours on end, watching cartoons to his own heart's content. Anna loved Ryan, even if she preferred to stay alone in her room, and the sound of the voices that lived in those moments when nobody was home. She'd lie in her bed and close her eyes and speak quietly to her friend Derpy, who would share secrets with her and would warn her against certain courses of action. When she was 6, she told Anna not to hang out with Jarvis Peterson, who was heading to the creek to go frog jigging. That day, he stepped on a hollow log into a beehive and was stung to death. On that day, she knew never to doubt the advice of Derpy, but also decided not to let anyone know of her existence, especially her mother. She'd just get mad, and when she got mad, it was hard for Anna to sit down for a good while. One day after her mother had been particularly cross with Anna, she found herself in front of the TV with Ryan. Her backside and shoulders ached fiercely as she leaned forward on the couch. "What are you watching?" she asked him. "My Little Pony," he said with glee. "It's funny." "I never heard of it. It looks new. When do we start getting it in?" she asked, knowing the TV only got 3 stations on a good day. Ryan shrugged and continued giggling at the show. Yet, as he giggled, something about the show seemed unusual. It wasn't just that the show came in unusually clear. It was the fact that it seemed almost lifelike. The more she watched it, the closer she crept towards the TV. The happy characters and bright colors filled her with a sense of wonder she did not know she was missing. "Don't get too close," Derpy said quietly. "What? You heard me. This isn't something you should be watching." "Well, he's watching it. Why can't I?" Derpy fell silent as the front door of the trailer swung open, and her mother, a skinny pock-faced woman, strolled in, with 2 paper bags in her arms.
"Haint! Don't just sit there, damn it! Give the restaurant a 10 your ass again!"
Anna muttered to herself as she went to the small car and grabbed as much as the little girl could and brought it into the trailer. After a couple of trips, the task was done, even if Anna muttered the entire time. "Why doesn't Ryan ever have to do anything?"
"What did you say?"
growled her mother. Anna cowered and muttered, "Nothing, just gonna watch TV." Her mother grunted indecipherably as Anna sat back down in front of the TV. "You're lucky," she said to Ryan. "She loves you." Ryan ignored her and continued to giggle at the show. The ponies bounded around on screen, sang songs, and got into antics. Anna felt like she could get used to this show, as she leaned forward, paying closer attention to it. For the better part of 6 episodes, she leaned forward and watched with ever-growing interest, eventually moving from the couch to the floor in front of the TV. "Don't get too close to the screen," Derpy warned. Anna rolled her eyes. "Or what, I'll go blind?" "No," replied Derpy fearfully. "You're being weird, Derpy," she said, leaning back into the coffee table. She winced as she made contact with it. When Anna finally got used to the feeling, she closed her eyes and sighed. "It's just a cartoon. Nothing bad happens with cartoons." The words left her mouth and echoed into the air. Anna closed her eyes and listened to the ringing sound of silence that echoed through the small trailer. It was as if the sound of the world had vanished in an instant and had been replaced with a low, audible ringing as the ears tried to find something, anything to focus on. As she tried to open her eyes, Derby implored her to keep them shut, as a foul stench slowly wound its way up her nose and throughout the room. Anna's pulse quickened and she bit her lower lip, afraid to open her eyes, but afraid to keep them shut. After what felt like hours, Anna opened her eyes and tilted her head forward. When she did, her gaze locked with her brother's, who was now in front of her, and 2 of the ponies on the TV screen. She quirked her brow as she stared into their gazes. She shifted uncomfortably on the floor, to her left and then to her right, as the 3 continued to track her every movement. "Don't move," pleaded Derpy. Anna broke into a panicked sweat as she continued to stare at the trio. Her heart beat wildly in her chest as she continued to stare. Finally, in a low, unearthly voice, they spoke in unison. "Mates." Anna shrieked and bolted from the TV. "Mom! Mom!" she screamed as she ran to the pockmarked woman. "Haint, what the hell are you screaming for?" Anna quickly explained what had happened in the living room. The Ryan was acting creepy in front of the TV and doing whatever the characters on the show were doing. Her mom cocked her head questioningly. "Who's Ryan?" "My brother," replied the astonished Anna. "Girl," began her mother as she lit her methanol. "You ain't got a brother. You never had one." "Yes, I do," shouted Anna, her eyes wide in disbelief. "He's right over there." She turned and pointed where he was standing. If her eyes could have gotten any more wider, they would have. Her hand trembled as she pointed at nothing. "Shit, girl, you ain't even got the TV on," replied her mother as she took a drag. "You just stare at that damn thing like it's on." "But he was there," Anna whispered. "You calling me a liar?" "I swear to God he was there." "Don't you be bringing God into this, you little brats," growled her mother, who then grabbed Anna by the arm and dragged her off to her room. "Stop, please," she begged as she was left by her bed. "I don't have time for your brand of crazy. Tyler's coming over tonight and it's me time. Your little rant just cost you dinner, Haint. Now you sit there with your belly empty and you think about what you and your lion did," scorned her mother as she closed the door behind her. Anna laid on her floor and cried. It wasn't just because her body hurt, or because her mom had yelled at her, but mostly Ryan. For 4 years, she had lived with that ball of smiles and joy. During that time, even if he never got in trouble, he had been the one nice person in her life. She curled up into a ball and rolled into her clenched fists, when the voice returned with a kind breeze that dried her eyes. "I'm so sorry, Anna," said Derpy as a calming warmth washed over her. "I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know your mom was still that way. I never saw." Anna choked in her sobs and muttered, "Not your fault. Some days, I wish you would just kill me." "Don't wish that." The soft, warm breeze was combined with the soft scent of summer, much like those Anna had known when she was a baby. The sensations washed over her as Derpy continued. "It's my fault. I'm not strong enough to really keep you safe the way I should. I kept hoping that at some point, others would see what a wonderful girl you really are, and you deserve so much more kindness than what you've been given. They call me Haint." "No," Derpy said. "You're Anna, and if I can, I'll do whatever I can within my might to keep them away from you." Anna shifted slowly and sat up. What are they? Why me? Derpy sighed. Predators, they're darkness. Pick whatever you want to call them. They live in the hopes and dreams of children everywhere. They like to play games with them and pretend to be whatever they want most. Then, whenever they get hungry enough, they'll come for whoever crossed their path. Maybe I should just let them eat me. Anna sighed. Not being here can't be that bad. No, said Derpy with finality. I won't let them. I may not be a match for your mom, but these things don't deserve you. Anna sighed as she stood and looked outside the window at the late afternoon sun. The sky was orange and tinged with purples and blues, as the sun began to sink over the horizon. I'm tired, she said flatly. Get some rest, said Derpy. I'll let you know when to move. The sounds of moaning and creaking woke Anna in the dim night. Tyler was here, and there was apparently nothing else to do. Anna sighed as she stared up at the ceiling. Physically, she didn't ache anymore, though her heart felt hollow. She missed Ryan, even if he wasn't real, and sighed again sadly as the mist began to grow around her eyes. Anna, are you awake? Said Derpy quickly. Yeah. You need to hide. It's here, exclaimed Derpy. Quickly, under the bed, and don't move. Anna did as she was told, and slid under the small bed. Once there, she felt what only could be described as a warmth wrap around her. Yet no sooner did she feel that warmth, than she heard the soft stomping of hooves along the carpet in the living room, making their way to her bedroom door. She curled up into a ball and watched the door slowly opened, as 4 pink hooves slowly trekked about her tiny room. Gosh, you're a pretty good hider, said the abnormally happy voice. I bet I'm going to have to work super duper hard to find you. Just stay quiet, said Derpy, and don't move. Anna watched as the pink pony stalked about. Her hair reminded her of Ryan's, if only pink. The pony even had a puffy tail, and 3 happy balloons on its rear flank. A part of her thought it was silly that she was hiding from such a character, yet deep down she knew she had to listen to Derpy. Come out, wherever you are, the strange pink pony sang out as it hopped out of her room. Anna heard the words, but they contrasted with the feeling she could sense from her. It was angry, hungry, and growing rapidly impatient. The pink pony, with a picture of balloons on her flank, did not like this game. The pink pony did not like hunting her prey. Who is that? Whispered Anna. Pinkie Pie, now stay quiet. Who wants a party? Said Pinkie, entering the room again. Pinkie Pie style. We'll have cupcakes and balloons and music, and Twilight Sparkle will be there. So will Fluttershy, Rarity, Rainbow Dash, Applejack, and of course yours truly. It will be the bestest, most funnest time just for you. Anna slowly crawled backwards until her feet touched the wall behind her, while watching the pink toon hooves pace back and forth. Anna covered her mouth. She then held her breath as the hooves stopped directly in front of her position. You're really starting to piss me off, Pinkie growled under her breath, dropping her nice act. As she turned around and around, trying to think where she might be, Anna slowly began to inch her way along the wall, her foot barely scraping against it. Yet in the dark of the room, it may as well have been a loud cannon. Quiet! Hissed Derpy. If you keep moving like that, she will find you. Anna looked up and saw that somehow Pinkie had disappeared. Cautiously, Anna crawled away from the wall to see where the pink pony was at. Moonlight flooded the room from the window, making it easier to see. But as Anna looked about, the pink pony was nowhere to be found. I don't like this, whispered Derpy. I don't like this one bit. Gotcha! Squealed Pinkie as her face flooded the space beneath the bed. It smelled sweetly. Anna bit her tongue. The coppery taste of blood filled her mouth as she tried not to scream. Her heart leapt into her throat as she tried her best to hold her breath, but failed poorly as the face stared at her. Gazing into the pink pony's friendly open eyes, she saw dark things. Black things swam beneath the colorful creation. It was a face of happiness and warmth, masking pure evil. Anna could feel the hunger pouring from it. It wanted her badly. For a moment, she and the smiling Pinky stared directly at each other. Positive she was spotted, and it was all over. But after a moment, Pinky broke away and started to visibly do a sweep across the bed. "Don't move," cautioned Derpy. Pinky frowned angrily as she looked, grinding her teeth in frustration while a low, guttural growl emerged. Anna could only guess what she would do if Pinky caught her. They were invisible to her for now, but already it felt like a swarm of angry bees were inside her head, while sweat began to drip all over her body. Whatever Derpy was doing to hide from her, it wasn't going to last much longer. "You're not like the others, are you?" mumbled Pinky. "You're different, but I can feel it in the air tonight. Your little friend isn't going to keep you hidden forever." Anna closed her eyes as her mind raced. Trying to find a solution. Yet, the only thing she could think of was Ryan. He was the only thing that was worth living for in this crummy trailer. The one happy thing in her life that she could see and feel, and it was gone. "Why bother?" she mumbled to herself as she inched back towards the edge of the bed. "What are you doing?" asked Derpy, her voice sounding weak. "Don't go. Don't leave me. I can keep you safe. I promise." "Come out, you little shit," muttered Pinkie Pie. "I promise you will be up the last." "If I come out," said Anna, "I need to ask you something. But you have to promise not to eat me, at least not right off." "What are you doing?" asked Derpy frantically. "I never said I would," began Pinkie, who sighed. "Fine, come out. This was getting super boring anyways." Anna slowly crawled out from under a bed and looked at the small pink pony. She knelt in front of it, so they were eye level. "You're shorter than I would have thought." "You're exactly the height I knew you'd be," replied Pinkie Pie. "So ask your question. I've got a super party planned, and you're kind of delaying it. That's not very nice." "Where?" Anna began and sighed sadly. "Were you Ryan this whole time?" Pinkie smirked. "Of course I was, silly. We were playing house. You weren't so good at it, so I decided instead of playing the daddy, I'd be the little brother. I didn't think it would take 4 years to get to this point, but here we are, finally." "Then you thought I was playing hide and seek?" "No," replied Pinkie Pie. "But you kids love your games. They are always super ultra fun, so I made it one. You should have heard how the last one squealed with delight, or fear, or whatever when I found him." Anna began to tear up. "But Ryan, an illusion. I know you loved him, but it was me in disguise. I'm really good at disguises. One time I made myself look like Fluttershy. It was super amazing. But right now you're stalling, and I'm looking to throw the best party ever." "Anna," whispered Derpy, "let me rap about you one more time. I can do it long enough for you to get out of the trailer. You have a chance to listen to your little friend, huh?" "What?" "Oh, we've known about it for years," muttered Pinkie Pie. "Healing wounds, comforting the weak, showing kindness but never accomplishing anything. She didn't even know I was Ryan, and certainly couldn't keep your mom from treating you like crap." Anna sighed and idly tapped the ground with her foot. She was right. What good would it be to stay alive if she had to live with Pinkie? Asked Anna, "What would it take for you to forget about this?" "What are you doing?" asked Derpy. "Forget about what? The guest of honor?" "Well, what if I gave you 2 guests of honor instead of just me?" asked Anna. Pinkie blinked as a small stream of drool leaked out of the side of her mouth. "Are you trying to get me to owe you something? In the next room is my mom and Tyler doing whatever it is they do. If I give you them, I want you to spare me. Bring back Ryan and make sure I never have to worry about this ever again." Pinkie Pie growled, her eyes deepening into a crimson shade. "You ask too much, little girl, succulent as they are." "Fine," she said. "Then any bullies we meet too." "Bullies?" "Bullies, killers, rapists, whoever it is that's out there." Pinkie covered her mouth, her eyes turning into a deep black, as she gazed at her for a long time. We could practically eat free. And you just want me to spare your life, and we pretend to be your brother? Think of it as playing house." Pinkie Pie's eyes grew even darker as her smile grew unnaturally wide, as she extended her hoof. "Hey, you have yourself a deal." It wasn't long before the creaking and moaning from the other room turned into panicked and terrified screams. The screams didn't last long, nor did Anna expect them to. She sighed as she slowly stood and made her way to the kitchen to make herself a peanut butter sandwich and enjoy the quiet night. "Anna?" asked Derpy cautiously. "Why did you do that? They're just going to keep eating. There are people in this world that don't deserve any kindness at all. My mother was one of them." Anna grabbed the milk and poured it into a tall glass. Much like her new/old shadow friend, enjoyed her late dinner.